Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Helen Campbell, freelance illustrator, artist and tutor, and this channel is all about increasing your skills as a watercolour artist to help your confidence grow. In this full-length video, I will show you how to paint this lily in watercolour using a limited palette so that we get fast results to help boost your confidence. But before we dive in, if you're new here, you may want to consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss new episodes coming out every Tuesday. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here we have the really simple line drawing of a lily. I've just done a really clean outline of this plant. I never draw my drawings freehand, and if you'd like to know how I trace my drawings down, you may want to click on the information card on your screen right now. But just do a really simple drawing like this. And the paper that I'm using is this Daler Rowney mixed media paper. It's 120 GSM and £169. Just use whichever paper that you have. The brush I'm using today is a number 3 size spotter from Rosemary Co, but please just use whatever brush you have. These tutorials are all about getting you used to using watercolour without being too picky about the colours and the brushes that we use. It's all about basic equipment and tools. So we're going to be painting this flower wet in wet to begin with, and just to get the overall washes on. So I'm going to be using my brush just dipped in the water by applying just plain water to the paper like this. Now wherever you put your water is where your paint will go, so just take a little bit of care when you're applying water like this. I'm going to do a little mix here of permanent rose, but use whichever pinky tone that you have. You can see the water glistening here on my paper, so I'm going to drop this in like this. I'm not going to take this paint all the way to the bottom because I wanted to have a little bit of a white colour here. So I'm cleaning my brush, dabbing it on the kitchen towel and then just blending it back up, leaving a lighter area at the bottom. That's just a really simple dropping in the paint wet on wet. And then moving to the next petal. So once you wet the paper like this, just pick up your mix and drop it in. It's really simple. You can see how it's kind of merging into itself, where it's just falling into the water glaze that we've done. Water glaze being the layer of water that we applied onto the petal. You can see that's really naturally blurring into the paper, which is really beautiful and what we want. We're just going to let that settle, and you can see where this bit is dried a little bit, just to blend it out with your brush to get that lovely soft edge. And I'll continue the other petals in time lapse for you. Right, so now that this paint is dry, I'm going to take a little tiny bit of a green colour. Now I'm using olive green. Use whatever green that you have. I'm going to put a sort of watery mix. You can see the consistency of the paint that I have here on my palette straight onto the stem of the lily. And I'm putting this on completely dry paper because it's such a small area that it doesn't really need a sort of huge wash of colour. So straight mix of the paint onto your brush and straight onto the paper like this. Use any green colour that you have that has a kind of yellowy hue to it. Straight on like this. These spotter brushes, by the way, are really good if you're new to watercolour painting, or indeed not new to watercolour painting, because they are very good for sort of colouring in your paper, almost like a felt tip pen. It gives you full control. And then straight to the edge like that. Now that it's dry, I'm going to put a little bit of any purple colour. Okay, any purple colour at all to this green. I'm using, I think it's Windsor purple or something like that. It doesn't matter. Just any purple colour to the green and get it a little bit darker like this. Okay, so, and then on this outside edge here, we can apply this colour. This will give your painting a little bit of form. Right to the outside edge. And underneath the plant like that. Clean your brush, pat it on your kitchen towel and then just use your brush just to soften that edge like this. Just dab, 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 dab. Keep cleaning it if it sticks, and then just pressing it into the paper like that. By profession, I'm a botanical artist, and I use permanent rose all the time in my paintings. It is my favourite colour paint. So if you have a favourite colour, do drop it in the comments below and let me know which is your colour, which is your go-to colour, the one that you always pick because you absolutely love it. It doesn't matter what brand, you always go to that colour. Let me know what it is. I'm interested to know which is your favourite, so drop it in the comment box below. So now that we have the base colour on this, we can start to think about building up a little bit of form and a little bit of contrast. So once again, I have my colour chart that I go to, and I'm trying to think about something that we can put a little bit more shape and a little bit more form in. I'm going to use Quinacridone Red. If you don't have this colour, you can use something like any red that you have in your palette with maybe a little bit of orange mixed in with it. You can even put it in with a permanent rose like this. Okay, like I said, I don't want this to be too colour matchy and too problematic. Pick up a little bit of paint with the tip of your brush and then petal by petal, just work through. So with permanent rose underneath, I'm applying this mix of Quinacridone Red to the outside edge of this petal here, wet on dry, just like this. Really, really, really simple. And this can go to the very edge like that. And then I'm cleaning my brush, and then I'm just blending that hard edge into the paper. Mixed media paper is absolutely wonderful for any kind of watercolour painting, so don't be put off by the fact that it's not expensive watercolour paper. You can see how I'm blending it in just by wetting the paper with my brush like this, so I have a lovely soft edge here. Picking up a little bit more and I'm putting it to this little corner bit here. I'm still using the same brush, by the way. I'm not swapping my brushes over, just want to give it a little bit of form, and then just sharpening that edge there like this. So you can see we've still got the permanent rose colour underneath, and now we've got the Quinacridone Red giving it shape and form. And as before, I'm going to do the rest of this in time lapse for you. You saw me there in time lapse go over the entire plant with a little bit of water mixed in with a tiny bit of burnt sienna. What this does is it unifies everything, and you can see by glazing over, and by glazing over a colour with another colour, that's simply all I mean, is by just literally adding a wash over another wash. This does a couple of things. It merges colours together like this, and it also adds a little bit of shape like this. And then what I'm going to do is take my brush and just add water everywhere, all over the entire plant. If you're new to watercolour painting, you might find this a little bit scary, but because the layers underneath are completely dry, when we glaze over by using either another colour or by using plain water, and I'm using a mixture of both, what we do is we merge those colours together. And like I said, I'm even going over the central bit here like this. It just gives it a bit of uniformity without losing the colours that we've already applied. As we hit the bottom part here, just be a little bit careful to retain the lighter section, but just blend it in, and then you have to be patient and let it dry. Let that dry, go and make yourself a cup of tea, and we'll go back to the detail in a bit to bring this to its conclusion. Okay, these colours are now dry, so we can take it up a notch and bring this flower together. A few things we need to do. First of all, let's look at the central part here. So a little bit of transparent yellow in with that, so that we've got the existing colour of burnt sienna with a tiny bit of yellow, but don't worry if you haven't got it. I'm going to put this colour in the bottom part of this section here, just to give it a little bit of a yellow tone, and again up the top and on the tip like that. So I'm dropping the colour in as before and then using my brush to blend that colour out. Using your brush like that. We can start to have a look at the stamen, and again I'm just using some burnt sienna, this time in a slightly thicker consistency. And to the colour I've just put a little bit of the existing mix that I had here. Now looking at these one by one, all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of detail. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm going around the bit where it hits the filament, that's this part here I believe, and I'm painting around that like that. So this is burnt sienna with the existing red mix going around. So you can see how I've looped around, that's the right word, I just painted around that little bit there, and then I'm keeping the central bit lighter. I'm going around the outside like this, so that the middle part of it is negatively painted. Just going to move my hand out of the way in a moment while I just paint around this part, and then you can see what I've done. Okay, so the middle part of it is paler than the outside part. So burnt sienna mixed with a little bit of the darker colour there. And one by one we're going to go around these little filaments. Just going to move that out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. So have a little look at where you're going, and just on the outside edge only, like this. So if you want to just blend that in, you can do by using your damp brush method as I've shown you all the way through. So you can dampen your brush and just blend it in. And these two here again, just using the tip of my brush, these need a little bit of defining. I'm actually going to add a little bit of black, any black colour that you have, to this to darken it a little bit more, just so that we can define. And I'm using a sort of stippling motion here. There are sort of dots on the speckles on these, and just have a little play around with it. Where this filament hits this one here, I'd like to darken that up a little bit also by outlining it a bit more. I'm going to let that settle in a little bit, and then we can switch our attention back to bringing this to its conclusion. So you saw me there in time lapse just adding a few more details, and I've added some of the magenta colour that I had on my palette right here, and I'm going to just blend that in really quickly with my number 3 size spotter, just to make those edges nice and soft. One other thing I'd like to do, you did notice me there just going around the outside of some of the petals with the magenta colour just to sharpen up those edges, and I'd like to do the same around these anther and filament right now. You can see how that's really made a difference to the actual painting. So I'm just using the very outside edge of these just to sharpen them up. The consistency of the paint has to be quite thick when you do this, but also very, very movable. We don't want a dry mix because it will just literally stick to the palette like this. So I'm just adding this onto the outside edge here, and then sharpen that up too. And any sort of tweaks or enhancements that you want to do, you may want to just go on the outside edge of this. Go carefully, you don't want it to look false, but you do maybe want to give it a little bit of definition as it hits that flower. And it's a good way of sharpening up any edges that may be a little untidy. And that is pretty much it. If you feel you want to sharpen up bits and pieces here and there, you can do, but overall that's pretty much done. So back over to me. So thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed this one, you may also want to consider watching this video where I show you how to paint a leaf in watercolour, and you can practice your newfound skills. Remember, if you like this video, to give me a thumbs up. It's a free way of letting YouTube know that you enjoy my content. Thank you for watching, and until next time.